Hey everybody, welcome to Mixlife. I'm here with Concrete and Chris DVR. Chris DVR is he's just using his typical sex sells marketing profile picture today. So we don't actually get to see his face, but he's here. What the hell, everybody? Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Sex sales marketing. I like it.
You guys missed like a bit of a pre-show rant before we came on. So the first thing I want to talk about real quick before we dig into Inawera flavors is that everyone watching is probably already aware, but there has been like a year-long, I don't want to say drama, but there's been like a year-long issue with regular reformulations of their flavors and some lack of announcements from the company in regards to said reformulations.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with it is like we understand that shit happens, and apparently there was some issue with TPD compliance. But the other thing they don't do is communicate those things particularly well. So it's kind of been just like a weird fucking black box situation.
Yeah, no, because I mean, for a long time, especially before Flavora really hit the scene big, like Inawera had a ton of the best in class or current, like they dominated the hype train for a fair amount of time. They had a lot of exclusives that you couldn't find anywhere else, and some really high end or really high end tasting flavors, right? Some really excellent stuff, and a lot of their stuff is still really good. Obviously, some of the reformulations changed the way we perceive some of those, and we're not 100% aware of everything that has been reformulated. Apparently, there's a way to tell on their site now. Rick was just saying, but.
Doc Thor, actually, we had been ranting about it. And Doc Thor actually sent me an email talking about it's apparently a problem with one of their manufacturers. And if you go to, I mean, I can try to screen share here, and we'll see what kind of disaster it ends up being.
You can just paste the link too if you don't want to, and then like whatever.
Okay, so if you go to one of their many websites, this one's just Inawera.com, it actually lists out, let's see, flavors. Maybe it lists them out. Also, they have the world's worst fucking websites, so that's always fun.
And they have like 4 of them.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the 1970s look.
It's so bad. They have 4 of them. So
well, it brings up how many, pull-up jokes do you want to make about websites?
We better not say.
It's just the low bar, right? We got to take the high road.
If you look at the listing on Inawera.com, it actually lists the manufacturer, and apparently the issue was with the manufacturer that they abbreviate as UE. So those are the ones that are like the prime candidates for being reformulated. Like these all say Inawera or whatever, but the ones that say UE are the ones you got to watch out for. But who knows?
Right. So they do like a certain number of a certain range of their stuff in house, and then they outsource a fair amount of it. Look at all those hashtags. I didn't even get a hashtag. What is this?
Yeah, it's okay. You're not that special.
Fucking jerk. My mustache is nicer than yours. Mostly because mine's real and yours is a cartoon.
I've seen him in real life.
I'm a little spicy today, so I apologize.
Yeah. No, we're talking about Poland, so you get a little spicy. But yeah, I mean, we could bitch about reformulated flavors all day long. The one thing that I will say is the only reformulated flavor that I've had that they've ruined was their chocolates. Their chocolates now suck balls when apparently
chocolates are garbage.
Yeah, they used to be good. Now they suck balls. Most of the stuff that I've tasted that's theoretically been reformulated isn't like a night and day difference too. So like when we say like Inawera lime's been reformulated, they didn't reformulate it into a terrible lime. They still have like largely competent chemists working for them, but it makes it kind of hard to like actually suggest individual flavors with this fear that it's going to get changed at the last minute. So
yeah, or recipes that are from 2016. Have you guys found any flavors that they did better during the reformulation?
No.
Yeah, I mostly just rage quit Inawera after they started reformulating things.
Well, it just got hard. It just got hard to gauge, like, especially from somebody whose stuff gets looked at like fairly often. Like I have to be critical of anything that could cause like people to have an inconsistent result, like whether it's commercial mixing or just people trusting my word that this is a good flavor and you should use it, and then having it not be exactly what it was when I made it, right?
Yeah, it's kind of changed my outlook on Inawera a little bit. Just it's moved it from like I'm using this because it's a good flavor to I'm using it because it's the only place I can get this flavor, and I'm willing to like roll the dice on it, you know?
Shortbread Anywhere, Lonesome Road's got to be up early. I don't think I've ever messed with it.
I think that's one of the newer ones, right?
Yeah,
I would like to get a hold of that for sure.
I think I read somewhere that it's kind of close to biscuit. But.
Yeah, they keep on putting out like new stuff too, and it's gotten like wackier and wackier. So my Inawera knowledge is officially dated at this point.
Somebody did send me that Yes Sweet cheesecake, which seems just a highly concentrated version of Capella's New York cheesecake. Like it doesn't seem that different to me.
Yeah, I think I tried some in a mix and it was like, okay, that's perfectly pleasant. Like it's a perfectly fine cheesecake filling thing. But again, this is Inawera, so like I can get cheesecake filling a couple different places, you know, so that they're not the people I'm going to reach for.
Yeah, my biggest beef with using Inawera often is the price point has still been like a challenge, right? Because you're still looking at $3.50, $4 for a 10 mil. And there sometimes potency is on par with that, but still, their dark lager. I don't know they even had a dark lager.
Yeah, I have not tried their dark lager, and now I'm perversely interested. So here I am talking a bunch of shit about Inawera, and all of a sudden I want to try dark lager. So here we are.
All right, well, let's on to the meat and potatoes part. We don't have a huge list today, just because of the reformulations. Like I've really scaled back my collection of Inawera stuff, just because I felt like it was difficult to rely on them consistency wise. So I just have some stuff to touch on, and as far as I know, none of the stuff has been reformulated.
So Inawera, real quick, if you want us to keep using your flavors or have any interest in them at all, vow to never do this again, and maybe we'll consider it.
Well, I mean,
it's not really in their control. I think they just need to have a better.
Yeah, I know. It was TPD and a lot of vendor problems.
Yeah, it's literally a manufacturing problem that's not part of it's not in their hand. And they already have contracts with these companies to release this stuff, so it's going to happen whether it sucks or not, right?
Yeah, I know that like shit happens, and like I'd rather just see stuff discontinued and like brought out as a V2 or whatever. Just like some amount of communication would be nice instead of us just like fumbling around with our dicks in our hands trying to figure out what's been reformulated and what hasn't been. Like the communication is like the important part for me. But
Where a creme brulee scarred Alfred pudding for life.
I don't hate it. Pudding.
I don't hate it. I kind of like it. I didn't put it on my list because it didn't really. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's super exciting, but it's not bad. Let's start though. Shisha. Let's do the shisha ones first, just because I've got a couple.
Okay, can I say something right off the bat?
Yes. None of them taste like shisha.
Yes, shisha does not mean they have a tobacco flavor. It means they're big, dumb, simple flavors meant for flavoring for shisha tobaccos. They're flavorings for shisha, not shisha versions of flavors. Please, thank you. Stop saying that. Let's move on.
Yes, exactly. They were designed with the intention of flavoring actual shisha. So there. Yes. So
small
shisha
range.
Orange.
Considering how many times you've been asked that question, very small round.
Yeah. Except for like shisha, they have a shisha tobacco, they have a shisha space drop or whatever. But like shisha strawberry doesn't have a tobacco note. Go fuck yourself. Love you. Bye.
No, it's wonderful and jammy and strawberry goodness, but it's not tobacco. So did that start at shisha strawberry? Is that where we're going to start?
Yeah, let's go to shisha strawberry.
Okay, we want to do shisha strawberry first?
Sure.
So the thing that's the most standout, other than not being particularly excited about strawberry flavors, is that shisha strawberry is like the one strawberry flavor I can consistently taste for more than 2 hours at a time. Like I actually taste for like a whole day or two. And then I kind of get olfactory fatigue. It's it's just still just a good strawberry. I don't get it's not particularly natural or authentic, but it's not overly candy either.
It's a good bulldozer strawberry. I don't know. I put that in like I don't like the way it tastes, and I'm pretty sure I'm not tasting it the right way. It tastes a little green and like plasticky to me, but I kind of just go on what everybody else says. And if I need a strawberry and I don't use TPA strawberry, Shisha strawberry is also a good option for that, for just slugging something in. And it will go a lot higher than you think it would.
It's pretty flexible. Shisha strawberry, like I start, like you use it 1 to 2% and you kind of taste it, but when you start pushing it up against stuff, you can really like drive it up to 6, 7, 8%. It's fine. It doesn't get too bad.
I mean, fuck it, YOLO, right?
I don't think I've ever taken it that high. That's crazy.
Oh, I absolutely take it like 7% commercially. It's really successful that way.
Other shisha flavors, I really like their shisha orange.
Yes.
Isn't that like toxic sludge in a jar? Like it evaporates and turns into.
You know, the 3 bottles
crystals of death
I've gotten don't have that problem, so I don't.
No,
it does seem to evaporate a little bit for me, like, and it gets a little weird. I don't know. I figure as long as it's airtight and you buy small bottles, I haven't ran into too much of an issue with it.
Yeah, I only buy 10 mils at a time, but I've never had a problem with it. Like,
I've honestly avoided it just because of that. I believe it was.
You get a little separation. I get a little bit of separation in it sometimes, like Flavor West Blood Orange does.
Right.
Because I keep it. It's pretty cold in here, so it's like 62 degrees, 60 degrees in here most of the time.
Yeah, it's a good like sort of artificially strong orange flavor, but it doesn't taste, but like good artificial. It has like a depth and a body and a little bit of zest to it, but it's nice, it's big, it's bright, super potent. Order a small bottle. Maybe just do that.
You don't need very much. Like 0.25, 0.5% is usually enough to drive a recipe. And you could like
definitely have to get that
if you want it to be really bold, but like it's gonna walk all over everything else in your blend. It's just gonna.
I love orange. I mean, we were talking last episode about orange creamsicle was one of my first attempts at mixing. So
I don't know if
I'll
it would
definitely
be
pick that one up.
orange creamsicle just because it's such a bully. I'm not sure how well creams would stand up to it. It's really aggressive. But it's theoretically reasonable. I mean, you just have to start low.
Yeah, creamsicle isn't the only thing I put orange in, right? But it's still, I love good flavors, so if that's a good one, I'm gonna grab it. I've been avoiding it on a recommendation from somebody else, but
yeah, it's good. I mean, yeah, I haven't had too many problems or just ordering 10 milliliter bottles of it. It's not something that I'd really like push for a big recipe or anything, but for just DIYing, it's really nice.
All right, so Shisha Punch. That's the only other Shisha one on my list. It's fucking weird.
Can I go? Have you guys had Shisha Rosemary?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty authentic rosemary. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's good. I just don't know what the hell to do. Like, it's really good. I just don't know where to use it.
It's so fucking weird. It's amazing, and I love it. And cucumber, and I have a few recipes using Shisha rosemary. But yeah, it's very authentic rosemary, really freaking strong, and weird. You know, I think I'd even have a soup recipe that I haven't released with like a tomato soup vape with cream of Tatum soup. It was like the next variation of that with rosemary, and it was really good.
I think the thing that kind of draws me back on rosemary a little bit is every time I try to plug it in, like it gets all warm and kind of camphor-y, which I think you kind of have to account for, but the flavors spot the fuck up.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
It's that little piney, you know, sometimes that's hard. It clashes against other sharp flavors like that. I've definitely had a lot of failures with Shisha rosemary as well. It's not an easy flavor to work with.
Shisha Punch, which is really just like a spice blend. It is not a fruit punch, as a disclaimer. For anybody that buys Shisha Punch thinking they're going to get a fruit punch, that is not what you're going to get.
Yeah, I just kind of read it as like it's an old school punch spice. Like punches in general, like the old school alcoholic drinks used to actually have a pretty heavy spice note. And it feels a little bit kind of Angostura bitters-ish. Like it has some cardamom, some ginger, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, and like an underlying citrus note. It's delicious stuff.
It's super good.
Sounds like mulled wine.
It is kind of similar to mulling spices a little bit. Obviously, except for the wine part. So there's no great, whatever, briny background. But I think it's a pretty rock solid addition to like cocktail drinks. It goes stellar with shisha orange. I think it's really good.
Yeah, you can actually make a full flavored juice with like 0.5% of shisha orange and like 0.25% of shisha punch, and it will still blow your taste buds out. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Shisha punch is insanely strong. Even 0.25% might be like. I went to 0.5% one time, and I damn near killed myself. I almost died. Yeah, it would be good in apple pies or spice bakeries, and it's pretty good in like dark boozes, like a real heavy whiskey base.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, well, apparently a company not to be named is sort of addressing the distinct lack of bitters. But up until now, it's pretty much been my go-to for like emulating some of like that almost like gentian kind of warmth from the bitters.
We're actually allowed to talk about that.
Okay, I know. I just wanted to tease it. So Flora is coming out with a bitter flavor.
We'll hit it at the end of the show. I got a special surprise for everybody that's hanging out.
Fancy.
Yeah. No eyebrow there. That was really uncomfortable to do that. I never want to do it again.
Yeah, let's move on. Shisha, I like shisha raspberry quite a bit.
I do like shisha raspberry because it's like more manageable than their regular raspberry.
Yeah, it's not floral, it's a little bit warmer in a good way, I want to say. Like, it's kind of hard to describe how it compares to their normal raspberry. Like, I know everybody likes their normal raspberry, but like their normal raspberry is either the right raspberry.
Not everybody likes their normal raspberry.
Well, it's either the right raspberry for a recipe or it's fucking terrible in a recipe. I feel like the shisha raspberry is like a much more open, adaptable kind of raspberry. It can go in a lot of different profiles.
Courtney Inlow says she was trying to make a juniper lager.
I was going to say I've avoided that one as well because I just have so much of their regular raspberry and it's so strong. I haven't found another need for another Inawera raspberry.
They're kind of day and night. I think they're really good though.
There it is.
Yeah, I really
sounds like I'm going to be ordering some Inawera flavors here after the show.
Their shisha lime and lemon are okay. I don't think they're as good as their standard lime and lemon offering though.
Shisha lime is pretty good, but I found that it has some body. It's not overly harsh, but I found like a lot of what I want to use shisha lime for, I can use FA's Florida key lime for.
And get a better result that doesn't steep out. I had a problem dating with both of the shisha citruses. The regular lime and lemon don't steep out as bad.
Their shisha coconut, I want to say, I've tried that one. I don't care for it. Their shisha bilberry is super medicinal.
Yeah, I don't like shisha bilberry at all.
Shisha vanilla is still delicious. I mean, there's a lot of vanillas on the market, but it's still fucking delicious.
I do like shisha vanilla for its like kind of unique body, right? It's got like
it's waxy, brah.
It's wax, exactly. It's. I think it's secretly part of the Swirlinati.
Yeah,
it's got a different vanilla note to it.
It's a different vanilla note. But that waxy cheat mode is definitely still there. So there could be some similarity there.
Okay, so is that pretty much the shishas then?
I think that's everything I got.
I can't think of any other shishas that I tried that stood out or that I remember. I know there's more. Shisha mango is disgusting.
Shisha pineapple's garbage.
Shisha pineapple is hot garbage.
Yeah. Okay, cactus. Let's talk about cactus. I love cactus. Cactus is good. I don't think it tastes much like an actual prickly pear, but it is juicy and weird and sort of green, and I like cactus.
So
yeah, I get aloe.
I do get a fair amount of aloe from it, like hand lotion level. If I push it up over 1/4 or 0.5%. That said, though, I mean, really under 1% in a strong recipe, I still feel like it's an appropriate range for it. And the aloe does fade over time for me. Or I become immune to it. I don't know, but I still like it.
Yeah, I don't really mind the aloe too much. It's not
a bad aloe.
Did Couple or Christy Bear, do you guys try that Inawera aloe that DeMillan had brought to Vegas? Because that shit was bizarre.
It was fucking weird.
Yeah, I still don't know what to think about that. I think I need to order some because it was like interesting, bizarre, but I'm cool with cactus, honestly.
I think it might be good at tobaccos, honestly.
Yeah, I got a little back of the hand taste. It was a bizarre flavor.
Definitely. So my next is blackcurrant. And I like Inawera's blackcurrant for its oddity. It has a really thick, like bordering on over-ripened fruit kind of vibe over black. Flavor Arts blackcurrant's much more consistent and much more flexible, and you can use it a lot, like in a much larger range. So Inawera blackcurrant, you need to stay under 1% ish, or it goes to like a funky sour mash kind of vibe, right? Like a sour mash fruit, like almost like you would get in a brewed beer.
I forget who told me, but somebody said that Flavor Art blackcurrant is probably actually a red currant flavor, and Inawera is a lot more accurate to what an actual blackcurrant tastes like.
Me and Verb talked about that a lot. And
I think, yeah, yes and no. I think Flavor Arts blackcurrant is just a more commercially accessible version of blackcurrant, right? Because like real blackcurrant is kind of an offensive flavor when it's unsweetened, and Whereas blackcurrant is not as nearly as sweet as Flavor Arts, and it's a bit more authentic, and the tartness level is really aggressive. So I think it's pretty cool, but you have to kind of approach it from the additive perspective as opposed to a primary flavor.
You guys find it useful in like bending flavors, blackcurrant?
I mean, if it's a blackcurrant primary or a dark berry like blackberry or something like that, then sure. But otherwise, like the sour note in Inawera blackcurrant is like super obvious and really hard to cover up otherwise.
Well, speaking of sour and obvious, I love Inawera rhubarb too. That's another one of my big ones. Like, I think you either like it or you don't like it, but I definitely like it. It is tart. It is astringent. It gets kind of green. Doesn't play well with a whole lot of other flavors. I think it's fucking delicious.
How's that? You say you either like it or you're wrong, right?
Yeah. You either like
much,
it or you're wrong.
Pretty much. I love Inawera rhubarb. But there's definitely like a place where it goes from like delicious tart, slightly sweet rhubarb to wet death and celery.
Yeah, you are never going to be able to turn that into a baked rhubarb. There's other options for that now, but
you can if you float it on top of a shitload of strawberry.
Yeah, but like then you could just use another rhubarb instead.
Yeah, you could just use Chef's Choice or.
I haven't even tried that with the Candy Wizard yet. Now I'm putting the two shows together.
There you go.
Writing a recipe tonight.
Oh God, what's gonna happen?
Everything's gone off the rails, but either you like Inawera rhubarb or you're wrong. So there you go.
We already kind of covered Inawera raspberry while we were talking about raspberry. But I mean,
rhubarb for me was always a jam. My grandma made rhubarb jam, so Candy Wizard rhubarb.
Like the Inawera's rhubarb is pretty bright, and I wouldn't. Yeah, getting it to a baked rhubarb or a rhubarb pie is pretty challenging unless you cheat mode it with a bunch of other fruit.
Just enjoy it for what it is and not lament what it isn't.
Exactly. So Inawera raspberry, I mean, it's pretty popular. It's been around for a long time. So I mean, it's kind of thick and syrupy and dark, but still tart and a little floral. A lot floral if you go.
Yeah, a lot floral.
But I mean, I vape trains osmanthus all the time. Have you tried that yet?
No, he didn't send me that, and I'm very happy he didn't. Because
it's pretty terrifying with floral.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Right, and elderflower. Like I vape a lot of elderflower.
Inawera grapes, still one of the better. It's still kind of an artificial grape, like whatever. It's fine for being artificial, but it's still a really good, like fleshed out artificial grape flavor. I
think it's really good. It's got a full body, and the cool thing about it, I think for me, is that I can still be a little aggressive with it, but then not be worried about what Flavor West grape soda is going to do to my coils. Right? Like I can still get like a really full, like ultra sweet candy grape out of it, and it doesn't completely ruin my life. So I think it's pretty
You've been
cool.
using
super exciting.
their sparkling wine is a grape. I feel like it's a grape, but it's not in the same
I don't think I have
realm, it sounds like. But yeah, it's more of like a white grape. It's probably the best white grape I've got in my collection.
Yeah, it doesn't taste much like actual sparkling wine, but yeah, it does have a fairly good white grape note. So there we go. Okay, another one. How about Inawera pear? I still like Inawera pear. There's a lot of really good fucking pears, but Inawera pear, another.
I feel like Inawera pear is probably at the top of my pear list. While I really like TPA and Flavor Arts pear, like Inawera pear has a lot more juicy body, and it's a little more robust. For me, I guess, is that the right word?
Yeah,
a little more syrupy, right? Like almost like not quite the syrup from a can of pears, but kind of like edging towards canned pear than fresh.
yeah. Like if FA pear is like super juicy and TPA pear has a little bit of texture, I just feel like Inawera pear for like even a single flavor juice is really good. It's just maybe a little bit harder to bend around or use as an additive. It's a good pear flavor though.
Indeed. Pineapple.
I don't use Inawera pineapple anymore. I can't cotton to having to use 6% of an expensive flavor and then not being able to taste it.
Yeah, that's my biggest beef with Inawera pineapple, and that's part of why I wanted to cover it. I think it's really excellent, but yeah, it's hard to justify using 6-7% of a flavor that costs $3.50 a 10 ml.
Yeah, and even at 6-7%, it's not an overwhelming pineapple flavor. It just
no, like even at that, it's not as potent as like 3% or 4% Capellas,
or like a quarter of a percent of TPAs.
Oh, they're juicy pineapple or whatever.
No, the regular pineapple.
Yeah, the regular pineapple.
Oh, I don't think I have the regular pineapple. I never tried it.
You never tried TPA pineapple?
No, why would I do that?
Because it melts plastic tanks. It's amazing. It's battery acid. It's tropical.
I have a cigarette lighter over here. I could do that without buying shitty flavors. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I'm gonna mention it. Inawera dragon fruit. It kind of tastes like a creamy white gummy bear. It's pretty delicious.
I really like it. Yeah, I don't know that if it's like authentically gummy bearish, but it is, or authentically dragon fruitish. I don't know. You fucked me up. But yeah, I definitely get like a white gummy or kind of like vague tropical kind of gummy. I like it.
Yeah, but it has like a really nice creaminess and a smoothness to it. Like it is negative throat hit. It's the weirdest damn thing.
I tried like pushing it up to see if it would get funky or bad, but it doesn't really. It gets overpowering.
I don't know. I live in Utah, so I've never really had a great real dragon fruit. I've had dragon fruit before, but it's always just been kind of flavorless. So I'm not really
the truth is, the real dragon fruit doesn't really taste like very much. It's a really mild fruit to begin with.
Well, maybe then we do have good dragon fruit in Utah.
Yes, that's pretty normal. That's typical.
Yeah, it's kind of a garbage fruit. It just looks cool.
So. Yeah, it looks pretty badass. It's healthy, but it doesn't have a lot of real depth.
Okay, so Inawera white grapefruit and Inawera grapefruit, those are both really good flavors. I feel like the white grapefruit's maybe a little bit more tart. The normal grapefruit is maybe a little bit sweeter, but they're fairly close to each other and they're both kind of delicious.
I think my only I used to have the regular grapefruit, but I haven't used it in a long time. But I only have the white grapefruit now, just because I haven't had a justified need to replace it since I rediscovered the West Ruby red grapefruit. But the thing I love about white grapefruit, or both of them, is that they're really pithy.
Yeah.
Right. Like you get like the legit like little fucking bits of pit in there, and it's like really super authentic and super cool stuff.
Yeah, it's grapefruit for when you're not fucking around, which is nice.
Yeah. When you really want to fuck up your life with some super tart fucking grapefruit. And it's probably one of the most authentically sour flavors. You obviously can't do sour, or at least it's like really, really tart. You obviously can't do anything else with it that's not grapefruit related, but it is legit sour as fuck.
Who else has one? Because I've just spit out the last 5.
2 apples. Inawera 2 apples.
2 apples, and they're both delicious.
2 apples, and they're both delicious. Now, these really almost remind me of like fruit cocktail apples, right? They're really syrupy, ultra sweet, like ultra sweet, and it's kind of it's got a really syrupy body to me, and not as much like fresh apple. Sort of like their pear, but more aggressively syrupy. 5% Inawera grapefruit. Oh my god, Rusty T.
You're like a medical fucking miracle at this point.
5% Inawera grapefruit.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Inawera grapefruit is strong. So.
Yeah.
That's a better way to put it. Like
5% any Inawera flavor. I don't know. That's
well, I mean,
that's on the high end, right?
We just talked about Inawera pineapple being kind of weak at 7%. So
yeah, like I was saying, there's select few.
Right, and you can push a few others, but I think that's pretty much it for the fruit side.
I got one more fruit.
Oh, I do have one more. You too. You go.
Cherimoya.
Yes.
It is a super weird, like, I don't even think it's a particularly good flavor, but it's a super interesting kind of like bending agent. It kind of tastes something like a realistic apple mixed with a ripe banana.
Yeah, and I get a bit of kind of like almost pineapple-y on top, right? Like a little bit of that tart end of a pineapple.
Yeah, it's kind of juicy fruit-ish, but it goes in a lot of things, and it helps to kind of flesh out a lot of like delicate fruit flavors you're working with without really overwhelming them.
No, I love Inawera. It's Cherimoya YC. I don't know what the YC is supposed to mean, but
Yummy classic.
Is it Yummy Classic?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I always forget about that.
Apples and banana.
That's right. Weird little like Yummy Classic, Aromat, Wear a Garden, what the fuck ever's. Right, but I have no idea what any of those
Tino Molino, whoever the fuck that dude is.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, Inawera Peach. Inawera Peach is really good, I guess. For a peach, right? It's really more like canned peaches to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not razor blades on the throat. So
yeah, it is really smooth, though. My only problem with it is the same problem I have with every other peach, that it kind of goes to like almost like it's almost always overripened peach is the end result. It's not as bad as some of the others, but they almost all taste overripe to me.
The peach apricot scale, do you think it leans more towards apricot, or is it authentically peach?
It's definitely authentically peach, but it's like authentically canned peaches, not a fresh peach at all.
Okay, so do you want to do tobaccos next, or?
I have one more, and that's smoked plum. So if you enjoyed Inawera's regular plum, but you don't want that fucky woody like tree branch taste up in your plum, smoked plum is the answer. It does not taste smoked at all. I don't know why it's called smoked plum.
No, it tastes more like a prune to me. You know, it's like a dried up plum.
But I mean, have you tried any of the other plums on the market? It is definitely like miles above TPA's plum.
It's miles above Vape Train's blood plum too.
I have not tried their blood plum. I have it, but I have not had it yet. Yeah. Because I'm terrified of it. It smells weird.
I wrote a review on this one. It's been 2 years, so I remember it reminded me more of a prune than a plum, but it might have been the percentage or the setup or whatever I was working on. And no, I really haven't tasted any of the other plums on the market. So.
Yeah, Inawera's plum is really good, but it has this weird dry note and dry wood note to it that makes it really hard to work with when you want to use it as a primary flavor. But smoked plum is the answer. If you're a plum person, I don't know. I think it's good, and you can put it in like plum wines and all kinds of other shit.
Yeah, rehydrate that thing with a little cactus, and I love it. It's good. I'm not bashing it at all.
Nice, Luke. Let's carry on. A quick and easy one real quick is I don't do custards very often, but when I do, I almost always build it with Inawera custard.
So you turned me on to that one. It's really good.
But the catch, the biggest benefit to Inawera custard is that motherfucker does not have to steep for a month. Like, you can get away with like a week, and it's pretty rock solid. It's a reasonable custard, kind of edging towards a darker creme brulee style custard than it is like a can of like old school English custard. Like, it's good. It's got a decent body. It's good. It's reasonable.
I'm not a big cap vanilla custard V1 guy, and so like Inawera custard's kind of my go-to. Like, I don't want to think about this. I just need a touch of custard. Throw it in at like 1% into a recipe, 2% in a recipe. Call it good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a no-brain custard.
Like,
for sure.
I know that I don't have to wait for fucking ever.
Do you guys get a vanilla note out of that? I don't know.
I don't really.
I'm always
note out of Inawera custard.
Adding vanilla to it to get it that vanilla custard realm that I like.
That's not tobacco, and then we can go to tobaccos.
I still use Inawera biscuit. I know that Jungle Flavors biscuit, people have started liking it more or whatever. I just, maybe I'm stuck in my ways. I still like Inawera biscuit. I still use it.
I think it's a great, like, just kind of vague cookie base, right? I don't think it has any. I like it for its layerability.
I mean, I'm with you. I still use it. I think it's a great staple flavor. I think it's got a little bit of a coconut thing going on that JF doesn't. They hit more of that cookie.
I don't think I've ever tasted anything remotely coconut related.
Oh, I've tested the crap out of it. It's got a just slightly coconut note to it, but I'm also testing it against. So my very first attempt at DIY, the creamsicle is what got me interested, but my first attempt was a Smo and Girl Scout cookie, and biscuit and coconut were two of the very first flavors I ever got. And maybe I relate it to the coconut because of that.
Could be, yeah, because I don't.
But I'm not the only one that said, you know.
No, different shit from different stuff, man. I'm not like trying to call you out, dude. If I was calling you out, trust me, we get a hot take.
No, and I definitely get some. I definitely get some coconut out of Inawera biscuit, but generally it's enough It's a little enough amount of coconut that it kind of, if I'm using it with anything creamy, it kind of folds in without calling attention to itself.
Yeah, I've never picked up coconut in it, but
it mixes out really easy.
Cool. I mean, like 90% of the time I vape weird shit and not bakeries either. So,
well, I pick it up in like TFA's cheesecake graham crust too. Like, it's that gamma octolone kind of like coconutty vibe. It's not bad. For me, I kind of have to account for it.
Want to be like, check out the brain on Rick, the big words.
Dude, I just repeat shit that other people say. I have no original ideas. I'm sure lots of people will tell you that too.
All right, so tobaccos is really all I got left, and I only have a few of theirs that I still use really often. And then for the last, 10 minutes or so, we'll do a quick teaser.
Sounds good. I have 0 Inawera tobaccos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not big on the tobaccos. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum. You say you're vaping weird shit, not bakeries. I'm mostly vaping bakeries with a little weird shit mixed in. So tobaccos have definitely been.
My God is going to run my house for my Inawera waffle stash, but he obviously has never seen a picture of my cat.
Yeah, your cat will fuck him up.
Sorry. He's actually like the same size as Kangran. My cat and Kangran are like the same size.
Well, the cat's bigger, but the dog's fucking terrifying looking, and that's enough to turn most people away. You have the ugliest dog I've ever seen.
It's true, I do. All right, so tobaccos. Black per pipe is probably overall one of my favorite tobaccos in the history of vaping tobaccos, and it was actually the first like tobacco flavor that I tried that I could actually reasonably vape. For a long time, there was like a drought of good tobacco flavors, and you were either doing it nets or not vaping tobaccos, or you hated yourself. One of the three.
One of those three.
Black for pipe is good. I forget who was saying in the chat they got a vomit note from it because, yeah, I'm sorry. It's still pretty decent. I think it has some tobacco absolute in it, so you can't buy it at like Bull City now for some reason. But I don't know. It's still tasty. It's still pretty straightforward. It has a little bit of like dirt and like ashiness to it, but it's not overwhelming for me. It's a pretty well balanced pipe tobacco flavor overall.
Well, and I went full retard last week because I thought that was an FA flavor, and again this week because now I do have one Inawera tobacco. For me, it was like licking the inside of a like ashtray. It was not pleasant at all.
Did you vape it, or did you just do like a knuckle test?
Vaped it. I mixed up. I think Steven did a review on it way back when in 2016.
Yeah, I mean I get an ashy finish, but I don't feel like.
I think I'm just sensitive to those sort of things. And, you know, when I quit smoking, I mean, just the smell of cigarette smoke would drive me insane.
That's
give me a headache.
Yeah, so, it does have a slightly ashy finish. In fact, I think most of their tobaccos have a slightly ashy finish. Most of them, but Southward Pudding's talking about universal tobacco universal base. Is that is that a thing, Rick? Do you know what that is?
Are we talking dirty neutral base?
No, tobacco universal base. It's apparently the base they built all their absolutes on.
Oh, I had no idea.
So Blackford pipe is a tobacco absolute, which is kind of like somewhere between an extract or like a traditional tobacco formulation and a concentrate, and like an old school net, right? Like naturally extracted tobacco. So there is like actual tobacco in their absolutes. Yeah. Which is why a lot of places in the U.S. don't carry them anymore because they don't want to be tied to tobacco based flavorings. Yeah, I think 1% to 3% is a pretty reasonable range for
Blackford pipe. Yeah, it definitely benefits from sitting around for a month. And if you want a lot of tobacco, I think 3% is my like upper range on it.
I get most of my Inawera tobaccos from Vapors Tech.
Yeah, Vapors Tech still stocks it.
They still stock the tobacco absolutes, and they have the widest range of Inawera tobaccos in general. I think it's really good.
Are they extra pricey?
Not unreasonable.
No, they're not too bad.
Yeah.
No. Okay. And I think their free shipping threshold is only $50.
Yeah. The only thing I've ever bought from them is Baker's flavors, and those were ridiculous. So,
because they're a nightmare to wholesale from. That's why.
If you do go to Vapors Tech, they also sell Chemdavatic nicotine for I think $10 for a 120. That's always worth picking up. So you can buy nicotine from them and throw in a couple Inawera tobaccos.
Vapors Tech has been around for a long time. Many moons ago, Vapors Tech used to also have a partnership with Bull City Flavors, and you used to be able to buy Chemdavatic rebranded as Vapors Tech nicotine from Bull City Flavors before they dropped the nicotine portion of their business. Yeah, so they used to be a big deal. And I think that's where a lot of people remembered them from in the first place. But it's good. It's fantastic nicotine, and it's like the best budget option if you're trying to stay on the cheap side.
I think the only other for pipe thing that I have a lot of experience with is probably vanilla for pipe. I don't get a ton of tobacco out of it. It actually tastes a little bit like shisha vanilla, but it does work really well with other tobaccos.
Yeah, I could see that. I had it once, but then I just never picked it up again. But Captain Jack for pipe is the other for pipe of theirs that I have. It's got a bit of like kind of Virginia grassiness to it, a touch of spice, and kind of like a really faint cocoa.
Cherry for pipe actually doesn't have an offensive cherry note in there either. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I never tried that because I was terrified of cherry.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it would be good.
No, it's surprisingly decent.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man.
I just got Captain Jack just not that long ago, a couple months ago. Let me do a quick Google search here.
Yeah, my other Inawera tobacco I used, and this was reformulated, but I kind of like the new version too. It's AM4A. Has a little bit of a fruity note to it. It isn't super dark. It's a pretty good like a general purpose tobacco that's not too ashy or dirty. It just needs a little bit to steep. It has like almost a little bit of a coconut thing going on too. So it kind of works well for like fruitier tobaccos that you're cool letting sit around for a while. I still like AM4A.
Bull City doesn't have.
Do they have any good RY4s?
What's that?
Inawera, do they have any good RY4s?
The only like RY4-ish concentrate I've had from them was probably their Kent, which I think may have been discontinued, but it was filthy. It was good, but it was filthy. Oh, and Gold Ducat, actually. I still use that occasionally, so shout out Kindgrad. Yeah, Gold Ducat's pretty good for another, like, non-completely dirty tobacco that isn't as fruity as AM4A.
Oh, it looks like maybe Captain Jaffrey Pipe has been discontinued. Bummer jam.
Oh, apparently
good.
Apparently they do have an RY4. That's what Courtney said in the chat, and it's good.
Oh yeah, it's the TDM. But I haven't fucked with it. Dromedary was all right, kind of if you're into the old school cigarette thing. I get a fair amount of their dirty base, the dirty neutral base.
Yeah, their Dromedary, that's like a Camel or whatever. And whenever anybody says Camel, they just mean like weird grassy horseshit tobacco.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much. I've used a lot of them, but I don't keep very many of them on hand just because. And then we can go over dirty neutral base and why you shouldn't use it. So a lot of people, if you want a filthy, gross ashtray taste in your mouth, and other tobacco flavors aren't getting there for you, but you like the actual tobacco base, Inawera dirty neutral base is literally like an ashtray in a bottle. Like it tastes and smells like a stale bar at 6 p.m. that they still allow.
I am constantly trying to get smokers to quit. Maybe that would help. I don't know.
Legit,
it's too on the line right now.
And has a
it's filthy, and it's not even particularly smoky. Like what I started doing instead of using like dirty neutral base for smokiness is I just switched over using Black Fire because I like the smoke from there a lot more than I like the dirt and the ash. So
yeah, I use Black Fire and then just one like thinner or brighter tobacco like an Oriental or something like that instead of like a dark Kentucky or Virginia blend. I just add like an Oriental or one of the other brighter-ish tobaccos, yeah. That's more leafy or hay, whatever. Basically trash tobacco.
So, I mean, that kind of wraps up tobacco for me. I just wanted we were going to talk about their mints really quick. Their mints are all really solid. My favorite's natural mint. It's a little bit more pepperminty, but it's not like super ridiculously strong. It's pretty solid. It blends well with other flavors without dominating. I like that one.
All right. That's basically the shit from Inawera that I still use. I can't think of anything offhand.
Purple Rain.
And
Purple Rain.
I have a little teaser for everybody. I haven't opened them yet. But we have some brand new Flavora samples. And I'll open them off and go over them real quick. But I've been privy to getting an early release handful, more than a handful, I suppose, of these flavors. Let me get this bag open. They just arrived today, and then I had to wait for permission to spill the beans.
Yeah, we've been going through some testing on some of these that got sent out before, and I completely shit the bed on the last round of testing, but I tried most of them, which is cool.
Only one of these I haven't given a
completely shit the bed. That is a term.
Fair shake. Yes, it is. It is a term.
You've never heard that before?
No, I've never heard that before, but yeah. I had a roommate that used to do that when he got drunk, so I guess I can see where it comes from.
I obviously don't have enough time to do. Does Inawera have a hazelnut? Yes.
I don't think. Well, I think everybody has one. I've never tried it.
All right. So from
no idea.
I don't know if these are finalized flavor names, but these are the final versions of what's coming out soon. So we have I don't know if I'll be able to read off all the labels here. So we have a Brute Bubble Wine.
That one, if it's the same as the last testing version, it tastes a lot like their morning mimosa without the orange. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a decent, kind of like champagne flavor. The melon rind, which I almost get, it's like bordering on cucumber, but it's definitely.
It tastes like TPA cucumber without as much popsicle stick.
Exactly. It's really good. I really like it. I think it's a pretty rock solid offering. And we were trying to hit that rind where you would use cucumber before. I think that's a better option.
Dave's going to be going nuts with some pickled rind soon.
Is it fizzy? No.
I mean, it's not unfizzy.
It's not fizzy, but it's not like, whoa, fizzy.
Yeah, I'd probably say that blood orange champagne from Vape Train's a little bit fizzier, but this has like kind of a cool like sour like wine-ish kind of vibe to it. It's a little funky, but in a good way.
Flavora Honeydew, which I think is pretty good. I've been vaping on this a lot in the last week. This one was a game changer for me. I know it's not everybody that tested it felt the same. Juniper Gin.
Shit's delicious.
So fucking good. So good. Now,
That sounds great.
I love Vape Train's Botanical Gin. And I don't really consider the two the same.
Yeah, the Botanical Gin has more citrus to it. I feel like that Juniper Gin is a little bit more herbal.
Yeah, it's definitely more herbal. It's good though. It's real fucking good.
Has like an interesting coriander note to it too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, yeah. Now, you know what? I'm glad you said that because like there was definitely like a misplaced like thing there for me. And
yeah, like kind of like a sweet carrot coriander kind of back note, but it's good.
I almost mischaracterized it as fennel.
However, will you have lived with yourself?
I don't know. Citrus soda. This one's pretty decent. It's kind of got a vape like Mountain Dew-ish vibe, but not Mountain Dew specifically. They sent me an extra Juniper Gin. Thank you, Bryson.
You're a fancy boy.
Pink fruit, I really liked. I actually get almost kind of a beverage base out of it. It's
supposed to be based on Vimto.
Yeah, it supposedly was a run on Vimto. So for those of you from the UK,
Vimto.
Vimto.
That's
It's a big
how
like
it's pronounced.
yes. Cola, which is the one out of the group that I haven't had time to give a fair shake to, but a lot of people have reported that it's a pretty reasonable offering. Did you try the cola, Rick?
I tried a couple different colas. I don't know which version they ended up running with. I think I liked the one that was too expensive to make because I'm a fancy boy.
Yeah, I can't remember. And I'm not sure which version because I got an old sample, but I can't remember which. I know there was more than one.
There's like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Back Bar Bitters.
Fuck yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Fuck yeah. It's a super interesting flavor. It does.
Crazy. I'm so pumped about this. Like, this stuff is like, I just want to rub it on my body.
Yeah. So, like, we were talking about Shisha Punch being like kind of an acceptable Angostura kind of fill in. This one's actually really, really good. I'm super excited for that one.
It's super crazy, like a legit bitters. And the coolest thing I got out of that was that if you combine it in the right balance with citrus flavors, you can like bring out a super mega serious peel note. Like legit just lemon peel. It's fucking insane. I'm crazy hyped about it. The next one is Rose Essence. We talked about it a little bit at the end of the florals noted. I think it's the most reasonable rose offering in the market right now.
It doesn't make me want to off myself, so shout out.
It didn't make Rick want to kill himself, so yeah, this is the fucking camera hates me.
One of the few things out of the day that doesn't. So yeah, it's
really
fine.
Weird. It does get a bit musky at higher percentages, but it's better that than going green again. Man, look, they sent me 2 bitters too. Yeah,
Oh, so you're sending me one, right?
nope. It's fine. Bobby? Are you talking to Concrete or to me?
I think he's talking to me because mine look more impressive.
Mine are from Walmart. So.
Yeah, mine are just off Amazon. They're acrylic nail polish racks. You can get the ones that are wall mounted though. They're actually, if you don't mind putting some holes in your walls and trying to find a stud or two, they're really nice.
The next one I'm pretty excited about. I went through a couple of different versions of this, and that's their Flavora's Black Currant. Black Currant's always been one of my like favorite fruit offerings in the candy industry, and I think it's excellent. It's really good. I think it's a nice balance between tart and really juicy body. kind of has like the jammy back note that is kind of reminiscent of Flavor's Boysenberry. I think it's super good, super duper good, and I think it can go in a lot of different cool shit. Their marshmallow vanilla, which I think is a pretty rock solid offering. It's good. It's a good marshmallow. It's got a nice vanilla note, and I get like an actual marshmallow texture from it.
I'm excited for that one.
It's really, really good. I really like it. And then the last one is, sweet and smoky tobacco, which is pretty accurate to the name. For anybody that's a big tobacco head or real fans of exotic blends of tobacco, it's a Latakia or Latakia, however you want to pronounce it.
It's smoky though. It's going to be really nice to mix with other tobaccos. It's probably, for me, maybe a little bit too intense to use as a solo, but I could see adding a little bit in for like a really nice sweet smoke kind of note, kind of like we were talking about using Blackfire.
Yeah, definitely. And it's sweeter, so you can kind of use it to get that like heady, like pipe smoke kind of vibe without having to get, and the smoked flavor without getting like without getting harsh or dirty. It's definitely super cool stuff. I have not had a lot of time to play with it, but I've done a few samplers. It is really strong. They should be coming out in February. I think it's the tentative release time frame, so not quite yet. And I'm still kind of getting to know them, so I don't want to try to go too far into the flavorings. We did some really basic beta testing with them, so we're still getting to know them the same. But
marshmallow vanilla compared to the one-on-one marshmallow vanilla.
It's been so long since I've had the one-on-one marshmallow vanilla. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the marshmallow vanilla for me, it's like a little bit brighter, a little bit fruitier. It doesn't have a ton of body. I mean, it's good, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of reminds me a little bit more like vanilla and heavy, a little bit brighter.
Yeah, the vanilla is really, really bright. I really like it. Kind of reminds me of their not vanilla bean, what's the other one?
Oh, don't you dare invoke smooth vanilla. Smooth vanilla is a much more beautiful beast than marshmallow vanilla.
But the vanilla itself is kind of reminiscent with vanilla. That's all I was saying. In application, so far, early days.
Don't you badmouth smooth vanilla on my watch.
I was praising smooth vanilla. So don't get salty.
Okay, is that the show? Because I think your audio just went wonky.
Quick to defense tonight, huh?
Yeah. Smiley. I don't know.
That's about it.
That's a largely preference-based statement, right? Like, I don't think any one company is necessarily better than any other one at all. But I think they're both awesome flavor houses. So
we love all flavors except for Inawera.
Yeah. Well, we love it.
You know, just competition is good. So they're trying to. I guess the goal of every flavor house is to make sure that you don't need another flavor house. Probably won't ever happen, but it seems like
Flavor
is
DIYers
on the right track, right?
We obviously want to have as many tools in our toolbox as humanly possible, and every lab or group of flavor chemists has a different interpretation, just because of the way flavor perception works. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the week. We will be. What do you want to do next week?
I want to start with Fulvora because I still got to do a bunch of shout out to Wonder Flavor for sending me a bunch of shit, but now I have to test everything, so be safer to go with Fulvora next week.
So we'll probably break Fulvora into two parts, just because it's the line. Not to play Fulvora fanboy, but it's the line that I'm the most familiar with, and I've done the most intensive note digging into. So we'll go with we'll start with Fulvora next week, and it may run into 2 episodes depending on how long it takes to cover everything.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
For sure. All right.
Thank you very much for watching. Why don't you smash that like button?
Smash it.
No, that was ironic. Don't smash anything.
Yeah, don't literally smash anything, because we want you not to break your devices, so you can watch this next week.
That was ironic.
All right. See you guys later. Have a great week.
Peace out.